Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 8 of the Cookielele build project. Actually this should be part 9, but the part 8 that I did record for some reason didn't save to my SD card, so we've lost a little bit of footage. A bit disappointing, but not a big deal really, because it was quite a short video, 10 or 11 minutes. And what I did on that one was a few little things actually. First of all, painted the necks, and they've come out quite nice, and only 2 coats, because I used my new spray gun and compressor, which are much better, shall we say, than my airbrush kit for this type of thing. I mean, the airbrush kit is fantastic for airbrushing, but not quite so good for painting bigger things like this. So I've painted both of the necks. So that's that one, and this one. Yeah, so quite a dark brown, but I kind of needed that to cover up the join with the neck extension block, and it doesn't, you can still see it, but it's quite well disguised. I mean, that one you can't see too well. Well, you can't on camera, but in real life you can kind of see it. So that's one of the jobs I did, and I also, you probably saw, I've glued the, not going to call them ferrules, I'm going to call them caps, because they literally just sit on the top. So I've got white ones on that one, because the whole thing is kind of a lighter colour, and then on the blue one here I've got black ones. So they're fairly lightly glued on, so they might pop off, but it's ever so easy just to glue them back on. So painted the necks, put the caps on. Now, one other thing that I've done, because I've got, for each of them I've got the bridge mounted on the top as where it should be, glued and screwed, but basically into thin tin. This one does have the bridge plate at the back, which is about 2 to 3 millimeters thick, so the screws go through the tin top and into the bridge plate. But my concern is the strength of this top, and I've had this issue before. Basically when you put the strings on, get them all up to tension, it will tend to bend, sort of dip down here and often raise up at the back. The whole thing sort of distorts, which is not good. So what I've done is I've put a block of wood on the end, again glued and screwed, and you can see there's 4 holes in there. So what I'm going to do is, let me just get one out. I've got these tiny little eyelets which I'm going to screw into these holes here, attach the strings on those eyelets there, and then through the holes in the bridge and up to the tuners. Because the normal way of doing these is obviously the string goes through these holes here, you tie it on here over the saddle and da-da-da. But it puts a lot of tension on there. 4 strings up to tension. It's quite surprising how much tension there is on it, and all of that is it's basically trying to pull the bridge up. And because I'm not overly optimistic about the strength of this bridge attached on here, there is a chance it could just basically rip it out, or contort the top and everything. So my thought is to, as I said, to attach the strings here on these little eyelets, tiny little things, but so they'll screw straight into there, the string attached there, then go through the holes in the bridge and up. So all of the tension will be pulling on here, pulling it that way. So effectively, you know, it's pulling this block onto there. It's not, it's, you know, if it was on here, it's trying to pull this away. But by doing it that way, it's pulling that way, if that makes sense. So that should be plenty strong enough. And as I said, they're glued and screwed. And bear in mind, I've got the big thick tail block here, and obviously it screws through the tin and into that. So it should be more than strong enough. I keep saying should. But this, I don't think ever was going to be. You know, I've had these issues before, straight on top of barely a millimetre thick tin. It's, you know, and the, you know, I've glued it with super glue and got the screws in there as well. But I'm always concerned about the strength of that. You know, when you glue one of these onto a wooden top and you use wood glue, it's as strong as anything. But this, not so much. So that's the way I'm going to do it. This block on here, there's little eyelets screwed into there with the strings attached there, and then up and over. And you know, it's curved, and I've sort of curved off this top edge as well, so there's no sharp edges that the strings are going to go over. So that should be good. And I've done the same to this one. Oh, so I've left this natural wood colour. You know, it all kind of blends in. And once I've oiled that, it will darken a bit and it will look absolutely fine. So I did exactly the same on this one, but I've painted this. Now you can see it's not exactly the same colour. The camera doesn't really show it off. I mean, this is, I don't know what blue, but this is blue. And I mixed up some of my paint. I had a couple of different blues and a little bit of green, and mixed up the paint for this. This is slightly greener than this. I wasn't looking for a perfect match. It would take you a long time to find the perfect match, mixing paint. And also, I wanted it to stand out a little bit. I wanted to notice, but leaving it that natural wood colour, it just looks horrific. So I kind of painted it a similar colour so that, you know, it blends in but still stands out. I want it to be a feature. I want these blocks that I've got on the end of here, I want them to be a feature, you know, so that people look at them and say, oh, that's a good idea. And, you know, those who know about string tension and all that will know why I've done it. And if not, I'll explain it to them. And I think it will look fairly cool, to be honest. So that's the 3 jobs that I did off camera. Painted the necks, attached the tuning peg caps to the headstock, and attached these you know, end plates, brackets, whatever, for the strings to attach to. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing that I lost the footage, but there it is. These things keep happening. So this now is officially part 8. So coming back to this one. Those of you who've watched the other episodes in this series will probably remember that in one of the videos, I forget which one, I glued and screwed the neck in place, glued the top on, and then glued the fretboard on, and then realised I'd forgotten to put the internal braces, excuse me, in here. And I said at the time, it will probably be okay. And I stand by that. It probably will be okay, but probably isn't good enough. You know, it should be strong enough to hold itself together without buckling under the tension of the strings, but I can't guarantee it. And I'm not going to rip this thing apart to put the internal braces in, because it'll ruin it. So, it has no internal braces. So, how about some external braces? What? So I've got 2 kind of flat metal bars here. I've actually sacrificed one of my tools. This was, are they called a coping saw, where you got kind of a big loop of the back of the saw and a very, very thin blade for scroll saw, one of the 2. So I cut that up. I mean, I had one, but to be honest, it wasn't very good. So I cut that up, and what I've got is these flat, fairly thin 10mm wide metal bars, and they're strong, you know, even though they're what, barely 5mm thick. I mean, they're strong and rigid. So I'm going to put those on the sides here. So you can see I've pre-drilled all the holes already. So this one and this one, they will go straight into the wooden neck and tail blocks, and then these other three will just go through the two skins of the tin. So I'm going to super glue them and screw them onto here. Now I think that will be really strong, more than strong enough to compensate for the fact that we have no internal braces, but for this one we're going to have external braces, which I think is pretty cool. So if I just place one on the side there and show you what that's going to look like, and I've countersunk the holes, and I've found, you know, the screws that will be the right ones to put in here. They're kind of brassy looking screws, so, you know, a bit of a contrast to this chrome, and they will sit flush, so there's no sharp edges where the screws go in. They sort of sit down into the countersink, and, you know, because I forgot to put the internal braces in, I'm going external braces, external, A, for strength, but also I think it will look pretty cool. You know, so again, it's going to be a feature, just like this plate on the end. It's a feature, and, you know, because the whole thing is a metal tin, you know, to have metal brackets on the outside just kind of fits in with it, you know. So that's the job I'm going to do now. This one, obviously, this has the internal braces, but I forgot to put the bridge plate in this one, if you remember. So again, this thing on the end will, you know, take out a lot of the tension that's going to be on this bridge in the top. I mean, because of the way the strings will go, there will still be downward pressure on here, but not pulling that way. So the tension will be a lot less. And, you know, I'm sure with this one I'll still get a little bit of this kind of pushing down and, you know, sort of concaving this area a bit. Won't be much I can do about that now, but it shouldn't be too bad, because of the, you know, having that end plate on there for the strings to attach to. Okay, so enough waffling. Let's crack on with this little job of external bracing. I'll bet you nobody has ever done anything like this before. Okay, so I want some super glue. I want a little spreader, just part of a piece of wood anyway. And I want my screws. I've got all the screws in there. And let me just find a decent screwdriver for those before I start, because, you know, I'll have limited time once I've put them on with the glue. Seems to be the right one. Okay, so I've got these screws for the top and bottom, and I've got, wait a minute, these ones for the middle sections, and they're a little bit shorter. I think they're the same thickness, but so this one is for top and bottom, this is for the middle three, and I think that the head is slightly smaller as well. So let me just check that this screwdriver I have is going to be the right one. It seems to be. Actually, yeah, I think that's the one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's those little eyelets. Just put those away. Okay, so I've got a little arrow marked on there and on the back of this one, so that I know which one is which and which way around they go. So I've got to be quick but careful with this job. So I'm going to start by putting the glue on the back of the support here, and then, as I said, quickly but carefully mount it in place and start putting the screws in. Thank you so much. Little delivery. Okay, so like I said, quick but careful. I think this is in a good place for me to see what I'm doing and for you to see what I'm doing. Can I zoom in just a tad? Yeah, that's better. That way. There we go. Okay, so let me just put a bit of card or something down here where I'm going to do the gluing so I don't get it all over there. 1 second. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Actually, I'll put it under there as well just in case any glue drops. Just a bit of cardboard. Okay, so here we go. Let me just get the screws ready as well. Okay, everything's set up. Right, here we go. Yeah, I'll put the glue on this rather than on here for 2 reasons. If we're doing it on this, I've got the exact area covered, and if I put it on there, I could end up splashing it everywhere, which is not good. And as I said before, this super glue is the thick version, which I prefer because it doesn't run all over the place. Okay, so get my little spreader, spread that out, and you know what I'm going to say about glue? As little as possible, but 100% coverage. Well, not quite so necessary with the super glue, but you do want decent coverage. And as I said, I've got to act pretty fast. That's already tacking up, so let's get that in place sharpish. Okay, that's looking good. Right, so I'm just going to keep that pressed down and get a screw started in the middle. Let's get that one in. Right, let's go for the 2 end ones. They're the most important, and I want those in just before the glue sets up so that they actually press down. Come on, get started. Oh yeah, this was the tricky one. Actually ended up drilling right through the original screw that I had in the side of that neck block, but such is life. It's not going in straight, unfortunately, but I cannot do very much about it now. As long as it goes in flush, which it has, very nice. Okay, the other end. Come on, in you go. Go. Come on. Isn't the right screwdriver actually, but I've started now, so I will persevere. Nice. Just make sure those end ones are nice and tight, because they're the ones that give it the strength. The middle ones are just to hold it all stable, really. They're not going to add a lot of strength. They're just going straight through the 2 layers of tin. Doing for time, not too bad. What's that not going in? There you go. Okay. One more screw. Okay. that's that side done. I'm really pleased with that. That looks good. And it serves a purpose, a very, very important purpose. Yeah, that's nice. Happy with that. Anything I'm not so happy about is the middle screw. Don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's kind of pushed this bit down a bit. So I'm just going to take that screw back out and see if I can catch that inner skin. Probably won't be able to now, but we'll try it. Yeah, it's not going to. Oh well. Can barely see it. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So that's that side done. Very nice. Very happy with that. Okay, so exactly the same the other side. Make sure I get this the right way around. I think it's that way. Just check, but I'm pretty sure that's the right way around. Yeah, it's that way. Okay, so same again. Glue on first. Glue spreader. Right, let's get that on sharpish. Oh, nearly dropped it. Hold that in place, get the first screw in. Okay, and an end screw, go to the bottom end first. Different screwdriver. Let's try that one. That's the one. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Okay, let's try that one. That's even worse. Okay, I'll come back to that one. I might need to take that out. Re-drill the hole. That's gone a bit weird, that one. Oh dear. This side is proving difficult. I'm running out of time too. Okay, I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to re-drill those end screws. Let me just get these ones in, re-drill the end holes. Maybe end up having to put slightly bigger screws in because for some reason they're not going in. Not a big deal. I'll redo that. I'll just get these other two in just to hold it. Yeah, I'll have to take those screws out the ends, drill the holes out again, and try again. And I may need to put bigger screws in, but it's going to go exactly the same as the other side once I get it done. So that's that little job. Now, okay, so that's the end of part 8. So that's what we've got. External bracing, strengthening, and it's kind of aesthetically pleasing as well. Ignore the end screws on this one, have to redo those. So, not quite sure what part 9 will hold just yet. We will see when we get there. So, yeah, these are coming along. We're getting towards the final stages now. Hope you're enjoying this series as much as I am. And we will see you in part 9. In the meantime, look after yourselves. Look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.